otherwise I will forget. We are going to record this. I will have it uploaded somewhere on our district website, and I'll send a note out to everybody so you know where it's at. So if you want to reference it, or also for those who were unable to make it tonight. Okay, so let me get all my stuff here together and we will share our screen. So you'll notice that I referenced PETS, President-Elect's Training Seminar. It is now called PELS, President-Elect Learning Seminar. And so I will go back and forth, and I promise someday I will, I'll get on board. But so from now on, we refer to it as PELS. That's President-Elect Learning Seminar. They have changed, Rotary International has changed all of their vernacular, if you will, that was referencing training to learning. And I have another Zoomer here coming on in. Okay, so as we get started here, if you can, I would like you to change your name, because we are not going to have time to go around and learn about where everybody's from, but I do want to know where you're from, and I also want other president-elects to know where you're from. So if you're close, proximity, then you can kind of create that community. So how do you do that? You're going to hover your mouse over your picture and right-click. You'll see at the bottom it says rename, and then we're just going to rename it first name and then your club. All right, something like that. Let me let Roger in. All right. We have a good group tonight. Awesome. Full house. We have, more than expected. That's fantastic. All right, so once you get that switched, if you would, then we know where everybody is coming from, and that just helps me in particular with understanding where everybody's from. Awesome. All right, so we're going to start out with a story, because I believe in storytelling, and so I'm going to tell you a little story, and that is, one second, I need to switch my view here. All right, here we go. All right, so once upon a time, there was a young woman who worked at a manufacturing company, and that company made ice cream machines. And so her job was to ship ice cream machines and spare parts to Latin America. She spoke Spanish, and international was really part of kind of her purpose in life. So one day, the CFO, for purposes of tonight, we're just going to call him John. So John stopped by her office and said, hey, have you ever heard of Rotary International? I just want to talk to you about it. I know you're interested in international. I thought Rotary might be something you'd be interested in. And she said, well, actually, yeah, I do know about Rotary. I was an exchange student in high school, and so I had applied for a Rotary Youth Exchange program. I was denied, but I know that they're really big into youth exchange. And he continued and said, yeah, that's right. They are, but that's not all that Rotary is. And so he went on to explain to her about the annual fund and all of the great things that Rotary International does globally, but also what Rotary has done locally and what the club has done in their community. And so he then invited her to a meeting. Would you like to come have breakfast with us? And we'll buy you breakfast and you can get to know a little bit more about us. And so she said, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that. So she did. And she really liked the people. And she thought that this was a good club to join. So she joined. And as life happens with work and all of that, she was promoted to different jobs, and she suddenly found herself super busy traveling to all corners of the world. And Rotary became a second priority. It was not her first priority anymore. And so she's feeling guilty because she's like, oh, I made this commitment to this organization, but I just cannot commit to them the way that they want me to commit to them. There was meetings every week and there was a lot going on. And so she really wanted to quit, but she couldn't because there was a festival every year and their main fundraiser was selling ice cream cones. And she was the connection for the ice cream machine and the ice cream. So she felt like, I totally cannot quit because how else are these people going to get their ice cream in their ice cream machine? So she hung out and she said, all right, I'm still going to do it and I'll do what I can, but it's really, really weighing on her. And it was odd because whenever she would go to the meetings, there would be less and less members that were at the club meeting. So she thought something must be going on, but everybody's busy, right? I'm busy, everybody's busy. So eventually she continues on with her career and decides that she no longer is going to work for the manufacturing company. And so she's going to start her own business. And Rotary was a big business strategy for her. She knew there was a lot of business people in Rotary and that would be a good network. And she would be able to connect and build her business that way. So she goes to her Rotary meeting and she's very surprised to see one gentleman sitting at this big, long table. And he says to her, hey, guess what? Our president and her husband have decided to retire immediately and they moved to northern Wisconsin. So we thought that you would be perfect as president. And she said, whoa. First of all, I don't know about this president thing. I don't know what that means. But I'm not going to be the president of a dying club. Something is happening here. We only have 2 people here at this meeting. But what I will do is I will facilitate a meeting with all the club members, which at that time there were 9. And let's figure out what we want to be when we grow up, right? Are we going to dissolve? Are we going to be absorbed into another club? Are we just going to forget this whole Rotary thing altogether? I will facilitate that. So they had organized this meeting and everybody came and everybody was all in. They're like, no. We have an obligation to our forefathers who started this club in 1969 to continue it. We absolutely cannot not do this. And so she said, okay, all right, I'll do this president thing, even though I don't know what I'm signing up for. I'm going to do this president thing, but I need everybody's help. And they agreed. No. We are going to be, we're sorry. We weren't prioritizing Rotary. We promised we're going to do that. It's just like, okay, sounds cool. So what she didn't know was that then she's told, well, you have to go to PET. You have to go to this 3-day commitment in Chicago or a suburb of Chicago and learn everything there is to know about running a Rotary club. Okay. She really didn't want to go. She's like, I don't have 3 days to dedicate to this. I'm fine meeting new people. That sounds great, but I'm building a business. I don't know that I really want to go, but I told them I would go. And so I will go. And so she begrudgingly registered and was scheduled to head out to Itasca, Illinois in a cold March day. So I don't know where where you are in that story. I don't know if you're the president-elect who missed a meeting. I don't know if you're the president-elect that it's now your turn, so you have to do this. I don't know if you came running in, which I hope is you came running in and raised your hand to say, I want to be president of this club. I'm not sure who you are, but I'm going to promise you that you go to you go to PELS and you are going to be a changed person. So I want to be sure that we start this today and we are going to change the mindset of what it's like to be president of a club because it is pretty incredible. And I want to open it up now, and I'm hoping that, because I cannot see everyone, I'm hoping that you can find your digital hand somewhere on your Zoom screen, and because I'm curious to know from anyone, what inspired you to become a Rotarian? why do you stay a Rotarian? Why didn't you quit? Why didn't you decide that this is too much, right? So you must love it somehow. So I need you to either unmute and tell me who you are, or raise that digital hand and share with us what inspired you to become a Rotarian. Anybody? Oops, I've got Tina. Go ahead, Tina. Where are you? There you are.
Hi, everybody. For those that don't know me, I'm with the Rotary Club of Walnut, Illinois, and I'm your district governor nominee who will follow Melissa in the district governor role. But just as a quick way of opening things up, I came to Rotary chartering a club in a different district as out of a failed village president bid to help a town of 33,000 that needed the help of Rotary, and chartered a club on the last day of 2009. And now I've been in 2 districts in 2 clubs, and I've been president 4 times in 16, 17 years. So
wow.
It's a great adventure, and I highly recommend it. And welcome to all of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. Anybody else want to share why, what inspired you to become a Rotarian? You didn't know it was going to be interactive, did you? Hey, John.
I know you'd like for the president-elect to speak, but while they're getting their thoughts together, I'll share. As Stephanie Urchik, our international president, says, there is a magic in Rotary, and you have to decide what that magic is for you, which is sort of what you were saying, Melissa. The magic for Rotary for me, and this goes all the way back 30 years, although I know I look much too young for that to be the case. But 30 years ago when I joined Rotary, then and even today, for me, the magic of Rotary is that I feel like, and some of you have heard me say this in club presentations, I feel like a citizen of the world. I enjoy doing local projects, club grants, club service. And I have not been to Afghanistan to put polio vaccine in a baby's mouth or help dig a well in a third world country, but I know people who have, and because I am a Rotarian and support the Rotary Foundation, I feel like I'm part of that. So yeah, I hope to be around when we finally eradicate polio. To me, that would be the ultimate magic. So to me, I continue to be a Rotarian, continue to be a part of the organization, because for me, the magic is the global impact that Rotary has. And I know that I'm a part of that, if even in a small way, because I am a Rotarian.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to share? We're going to have one more group interaction. So we're going to use all of the functionality of Zoom tonight. So my next question for you is, I want you to, in the chat, type one word that describes Rotary to you. So if I say the word Rotary, what comes to mind? And type it in the chat. Let's see what everybody's got to say tonight. Service, yes, for sure, Mike. Service. Service, all right. Together. Relationships, yeah. Community. Relevance. Magic. Yeah. Yep, commonality to help the community. Yeah, giving back. All of those, wonderful. Yeah, and that's just, I want to remind us, because sometimes in that whirlwind of life, and we're so busy and we're doing all the things, and now we got this extra Rotary thing to do, and being a club president is pretty cool. You now have the opportunity to impact your club in a different way, in a way that makes sense for you, and we'll talk a bit about that. So I want you to start thinking about what is it that your legacy is going to be for your year. And so, yeah, exciting. Nora, thank you. Exciting. Involvement. Yeah, thank you, Roger. Awesome. Yeah, very, very good. So as we continue on this journey to club presidents, because that's what I'm calling it, and I'm just going to go through some housekeeping real quick that is very, very important for everyone. And that is that the key to success are two platforms. One is Club Runner. So I know not all clubs are on Club Runner, but you can still register yourself on the district Club Runner so that you are getting all the communication. But the district communicates to the clubs via Club Runner, as you know, because you registered for this program via Club Runner. So be sure that, go back to your clubs and be sure that your Club Runner account for your club has all of your leadership listed. Some of you have president, maybe have president-elect, but you don't have your public image chair or your foundation chair or your grant chair or any of those listed. So just go back and be sure that all of those roles are identified. And the main reason is because if I were, or our public image chair was, district public image chair was going to send something just to the public image people, then she can do that because she just has to click a button and all of those people that are identified with that role are there. She doesn't have to know everybody's name. So Club Runner is super important. The second one is My Rotary. My Rotary and Club Runner sync sometimes. Sometimes they sync. What I mean by that is not inadvertently, but there are certain things that connect and then there are certain things that are separate. So from a district perspective, we communicate by Club Runner. From a Rotary International perspective, they communicate by My Rotary. So be sure that you've gone out and you have set your My Rotary account. You just click on register and you can go through the prompts and give the information that you need to. Here's why it's so important. In My Rotary, you are going to have this tab up here. And where it says knowledge and resources, if you click on that tab, and again, you'll get the recording of this so you can see it. But you've got your Rotary Club Central, which is where you're going to put all your goals. Your Service Project Center, Brand Centers, that's all your public image stuff. That's where if you need a logo or if you need a brochure or anything like that, all those are created in the Brand Center. Raise for Rotary. If you have not heard about it, this is the coolest thing ever. I just finished a 10,000 step challenge that I did for World Polio Day. We raised $1,100, which was amazing. With the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, it's $3,300. So, but it was super simple. It wasn't simple to do the 10,000 steps, I'll have to tell you, but it was super simple to raise the money. The tool is already there. So if you're doing any fundraising for the Rotary Foundation and polio, those types of things, then use that tool. And it's all connected to credit cards and all that, and it comes back to your club or to you personally, depending on however you, as far as the credit goes, not the money, but as far as the credit goes, then all those points and everything are all figured out in the back end of that technology. So Raise for Rotary is pretty cool. I just learned about it, and it's super simple. And then there is the Learning Center. So you have been receiving emails from me starting in August. And so part of this onboarding is we want you to, instead of having to binge watch, 10 or 15 learning modules, we are separating them out by month. So that will go all the way until June. It does not stop in March after Pell. So it goes all the way through June. The Learning Center, which if you've been doing their modules, the Learning Center is where you need to go in order to watch those modules. So there's the Grant Center and a bunch of other stuff in here as well. So My Rotary, Club Runner, super duper important. I've got some important dates for you. You can take a screenshot of this if you'd like. Otherwise, it is on the district calendar. So you can go to the district website, click on the calendar, and I'm trying my best to be sure that I have all of these and whatever's going on in the future on the district calendar. So we have the monthly emails that I talked about. That's from August until June. And then we have our pre-Pels Zoom meetings. So after Pels, I don't think we will have any more Zoom meetings. we'll have one in January, one in February, and then we end up having PELS on February 28th through March 2nd. And the reason I'm doing these Zoom meetings is because there's a lot of administrative things that we need to know about, and I'm separating them out into these 3 sessions so that we're not cramming them into 45-minute district breakout sessions during the PELS weekend, and we can focus on some other topics that I'll talk about in a second. So January 13th, February 20th, and then I have here TBA, Leadership Assessment Education Session. So what does that mean? We are looking at, and when I say we, it's the 6 districts that make up Midwest PETS or Midwest PELS. And so we are looking at a leadership assessment program, which is through Gallup. It's Clifton Strengths. And we want to lean into leadership and how to lead a volunteer workforce, because that's what you're going to be doing. And so what does that look like? What are the strengths that you have? What strengths do you need if you are doing a fundraising event? Things along those lines. We haven't worked out all the details yet, but I do want to give you a heads up. We will then, once you take the assessment, then we will have a Zoom, which will also be recorded in January, that will go over the whole Clifton Strengths program. And I see your hand, John. And then, but that date is not yet determined. PELS is February 28th through March 2nd. The district training assembly is May 17th at Sauk Valley Community College. Very important for you to be there for several reasons, but one reason in particular is this is where the president-elect approved the budget for our year. So super important for you to be there. The district governor installation will be in June. Haven't figured out where yet, and then we will have a spring 2026 conference. John, how may I help you? You're muted.
Sorry. Just wanted to make this clear to the president-elect. You don't need to panic and go to your club treasurer and say, oh my gosh, you know, we got some stuff coming up. I hope we got money for me to do it. Part of your club dues that you have already paid includes your president-elect registration for PELS. And the district training assembly is free to the president-elect. So it's not going to be a big budget hit for your club for you to go in person February 28th through March 2nd. It's already paid for when you paid your club dues. I found out during my president-elect year, a lot of clubs, treasurers, and president-elects didn't realize that. So I just wanted to clarify that at this point. It's already paid for when you paid your club dues.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Yeah. So some dates, again, they're going to be on the district calendar. And so if you lose this screenshot, it's okay, because it's going to be on the district calendar. Perfect. All right, let's talk a little bit about the district. So our district, this is our district, 6420. We have 42 clubs. We had 43. We lost the Byron Club, unfortunately. Last year, they decided to dissolve. So we don't want to have that repeat itself. Our goal is to grow clubs. We have 1,315 members as of when I did this presentation, which was earlier this week, and 21 Rotaractors. Our district goes, so we're considered Northwestern Illinois. Our district goes from the tip, right, to the Wisconsin border up here, South Beloit, Galena, all the way to the Iowa border, and then down to Toluca, and then over to Harvard. We do not have a club in Harvard, but I'm really pretty sure we will shortly, because that, I think, is a gem of a community that needs Rotarians there. But this is your district. If you are curious on when other clubs meet, this map, the screenshot that I took here, is on the district website. So you can go to the map and it will show you, and you just click on the pin and it will say, when that particular club meets and time. So it's pretty neat, interactive map. So here's our district line leadership. So we've got District Governor John, who just spoke to us. I'm District Governor-elect. Tina, she mentioned earlier too, she commented earlier on what inspired her, Tina Curtis. She is our District Governor nominee. We are in the application survey time, not survey, but application time for the District Governor designate. So that's the next one in line. The one of the many things that Rotary does well is succession planning when it comes to the district line. So Tina and I will be manning or staffing a table at the conference, and we will be answering all kinds of questions. You can write your name down if you're interested, but we would love to talk to you first, or anybody else. First, you need to be a past president. So if you haven't been president before, you have to go through this here before you can put your hat in the ring. And then you have to be in good standing with regards to Rotary and to our district. Okay, and then our past district governor, Dave Emmerich. We also have Laura Kahn on today, who is also a past district governor. So we are well represented today. Let me see what's going on. Okay, so Jen, as long as you are in Club Runner, so what Jen has here, I'm just going to take a little bit of a sidebar here. Jen says she stepped into the president-elect position in place of another member. I've not been receiving the training emails. I'll redo them and get them to you so you have them, and then anybody else who maybe joined after I started the process. So thank you so much for bringing that up. All right, so I want to talk about what's so special about Rotary. We talked about service. We had all these one words that we were going through. And I want to talk a bit about what is so special about Rotary and what's so special about our district. Some things that I'm not sure you know, but that we need to celebrate. So there are these three main areas: polio eradication, everybody's heard about it, district and global grants, and the annual fund. So specifically to our district, I want to talk about Polio Plus. In 2023-2024, so this was last year, we had a goal of $49,500. That's how much we were going to raise as a district for Polio Plus. We hit that out of the park. So we exceeded that number by 175%, okay? $86,410 was raised for Polio Plus. In addition to that, and this is, I'm not going to go into great detail on what this is, but I'm going to explain. You will hear an acronym called DDF, like David Frank, okay? DDF. It stands for Designated or District Designated Funds. So Rotary International, when you donate to the annual fund, then 3 years from now, whatever our district pot was that we donated this year, 3 years from now, we get a portion of that Rotary International gives back to our district to use for not only local district grants, but also international district grants or global district grants. So we had some money in the DDF fund that we also donated to polio last year. That took our total donations to $101,053. Remember, our goal was $49,000. So either we were sandbagging or we were super, super duper good, right? And I think we were super, super duper good because there's no way Laura would allow any sandbagging to go on with polio. Guaranteed. Our district grants last year, we had 40 clubs participate out of 43. Which represented $119,404 back to our local community. And this year, we have 38 out of 42 clubs participating in district grants. If your club does not participate in district grants, we need to talk because this is free money. Like, this is free money to give back to your clubs. Now, yes, your club has to match for sure, but it's doubling your effort without much effort. So it's an amazing, I don't know if there's any other service organization that has this type of program, but it's pretty cool. So this year we have estimated that we will give back $98,927 back to our local communities in this year. Now, the global grant. So we did have 2 global grants. Our current global grant is with a downtown breakfast club in San Diego and the Centenaria Rotary Club, and they are those 2 with us. We are trying to eradicate Rocky Mountain spotted fever in Baja California, and so we've given $50,000 to that project. In 2021, we partnered with the Culebra Puerto Rican Club, which Culebra is an island close to Puerto Rico. And when all the hurricanes came flying in, mainly Hurricane Maria, there were a lot of ships, boats, things like that just got left. And so mosquitoes found their homes or their nests in those areas, and those mosquitoes carried diseases. So the goal of that project was to eradicate those mosquitoes naturally, not through pesticides, but naturally, in order to remove those diseases or the possibility of diseases from the community. And so that project cost was close to $200,000, and we had provided $75,000 for that. So pretty amazing things. The annual fund, where's my numbers for my annual fund? Here we go, my annual fund. So 2023, 2024, we donated $205,853 to the annual fund. Our goal was $143,900. Again, far surpassing what our expectations were. And the only way we could do that is through everybody here donating and everybody in your clubs donating. The one really critical role that you have as club president is to encourage giving year round, right? So yes, we had World Polio Day last week, and that is a culmination, and everybody is really wrapped around it, but we need to continue to lead by example through donations ourselves, and then also to help our clubs understand the importance of donating to the annual fund and educate them on this district designated fund program that Rotary has. Now, I don't expect you to know any of that today, but you will hear more and more about it at PELS. You will have a whole track on the foundation so you can get all your questions asked, and you can start preparing so you know what's going on, and then you can help your clubs either increase their giving or expand their giving or their fundraising or whatever that looks like. But that is one very, very important role that you have as club president. So if you hear nothing else that I say tonight, please remember that. The other thing I want you to start thinking about is, what is your legacy? So I'm going to give you some examples here. So in 2022, 2023, past District Governor Laura, she launched the Everything Reads Like a Book, or Everyone Reads Like a Book campaign. And so our district donated 4,000 books to our district communities, to our local communities. We raised 2,000 books, or enough money to purchase 2,000 books that were donated to a Ukrainian school community in Chicago when the war broke out, and then there were quite a few Ukrainian children and their mothers, quite frankly, that immigrated to the Chicagoland area, so they needed books, and we were able to raise that money through the 2022 district conference. Amazing, right? So 2023, 2024, past District Governor Emmerich, Dave, he was wanting, it was all about food. And so he challenged us to donate 20 pounds of food per person. We donated per club member. We donated 155,343 pounds of food, which is amazing and unheard of. And this year, District Governor John is asked us to build pollinator plots, right? If you have one already, make it larger. If you don't have one, then build one. It's about butterflies and bees and the environment. So my question to you to start thinking about, what's your legacy? What's it going to be? And maybe your club already has one. So for example, my club, Roxton Roscoe Club, we have been a literacy club since day one. And that's really important to us. And it's really important to me. So when I was club president, it was important for me to expand that, our literacy focus. Like the program that we did at the time, we didn't do any district grants at the time, and it was kind of stale. So we then got more involved in district grants. We got more creative with the superintendents that were part of our club. So if you have, maybe your club does focus in one particular area, what is it that you can do to expand that or expound upon it, so that then what is your legacy going to be, or what is your impact? Being at a club leadership level brings with it some great impact, and now is your chance to do what you wanted to do in order to make a better or a stronger impact or a larger impact in your community. So it's book raising, it's food raising, it's plot building, kind of what's next. So think about what that looks like. And that really brings us to to the Rotary Action Plan. So now I'm going to give you, this is my public service announcement for Rotary International, because they are launching the Rotary Action Plan. And all of us around the world will be involved in it in some way, shape, or form. And we are the lucky ones. I want you to know we are the lucky ones, because our year is when they are starting this whole program. So let me just explain what it is. I want to start first by the Rotary, their vision statement. So together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. That is Rotary International's vision statement. Makes sense? I'm sure that you've seen it before. Now, our district's vision statement is an active and diverse Rotary district working collaboratively to enrich our members' Rotary experience and make a lasting impact among those we serve locally and globally. So it ties into the Rotary International one as well. And so as we launch this action plan, be thinking about what your vision is that feeds into the district one, right? So there are 4 pillars to the Rotary Action Plan. We want to increase our impact, and we do that through donations. We want to expand our reach. That has to do with membership, right? We want to find new clubs, cause-based clubs, expand our existing clubs, what all that looks like. We need to grow our membership. You grow your membership, you grow your donations, you grow your impact. That's the whole, in a nutshell, that's the whole basis behind this Rotary Action Plan. Enhance participant engagement. We need to be sure that our existing members are engaged. If you look at the numbers, Rotary has had 1.2 million members for years, because it's like a revolving door. As many are coming in, are going out. So how do we keep them in our clubs? How do we keep them engaged? And finally, we have to increase our ability to adapt. I'm a business owner, and if I don't adapt to the marketplace, I die. Well, it's the same with Rotary. If we don't adapt, we no longer exist, right? So these are the 4 main pillars. And here's just kind of reasons as to why, right? It shows you continuity. So when I said we were the first group, what Rotary is doing prior to our start, it was a 1-year cycle, right? They wanted 1-year goals, 1-year goals. You had to put your goals in, and they were just based on 1 year. Well, we are now going to look at 3-year goals. And so in My Rotary, and it's live now, so if you go into My Rotary and you go into the goal Rotary Central, then you will see the opportunity to put in 3-year goals. And so they're doing that for continuity. We want to be sure that, the District Governor John, myself, and Tina, we all have to be aligned, so that if he wants to grow an environmental club and a human trafficking club, and then in July 1st, it's my turn, and I go, you know what, I don't really want to do that. I think we should focus on XYZ clubs, right? I'm turning the whole ship upside down. And so we don't want that. We want it to be continuity. We want to be 3-year. We're all in lockstep. And this is a rolling 3-year plan. Simplicity and alignment. That way we have, trying to make it as simple as possible. And then regional adaptability. Regional adaptability reminds me, I come from the food service industry, so it reminds me of McDonald's. When McDonald's goes into a new market, let's just say India, they don't eat beef. So they had to adjust their menu based on that region, and so they had to adapt. Otherwise, they wouldn't survive there. It's the same in Australia. They started McCafe. Now McCafe is really big here. So regional adaptability, same thing with Rotary. We have to be sure that we are flexible based on our regions as well. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And this is just a graphic that shows you the rolling, how the rolling 3 years work. So the first year, our year, and then the second year and the third year. So you read this across, and then the next year, that's their year 1, and we go across. So in Tina's year, she's going to be looking at, okay, this is our plan for my year 2 per year, and then the next year. And then what is that third year going to be? So again, we're sliding it across. Then the next district governor or president in your case, and then it slides across. So this is just a graphic showing you how that 3-year is going to roll. Rotary has asked us to be focused on these goals. So they've even given us our goals. We just have to put the metrics behind it. So in these 4 pillars, enhance participant engagement, so service participation, that's our goal number 1. How are we going to increase our service participation in our clubs? Increase our impact. How are we going to increase our donations to Polio Plus, annual funds? Have people schedule their either become major gift donors or they're putting in their will that X amount of dollars once they pass will go to Rotary Annual Fund or to Polio Plus or what have you. Expand our reach. That comes with club membership, increasing our club membership. What does that look like? What number are you going to put by that? And then what actions are you going to take in order to achieve those goals? And then finally, increasing our ability to adapt. This is creating and updating our club strategic plan. Now, the district has a strategic plan. I'm sure you've seen it. John sent that out early in his year. Probably, I think it was in July. So take a look at it. We will be redoing it based on this new Rotary Action Plan. But for the most part, it aligns. We just have a couple things that we have to clean up so that it aligns better to the Rotary Action Plan. So stay tuned on this. You have no action that you have to take. Right now, there will be more to come. We will be introducing this at PELS and at District Training Conference so that July 1st, when it becomes real for us, then we'll be ready for a simple, clear plan that is sustainable and aligned with Rotary International, the district, and the clubs, right? So we all 3 need to be in lockstep. So if I'm you might be asking, okay, Melissa, that's great, but what's the district's goal? So I want you to start to think about one goal. I'll tell you what my goals are, but I want you to start to think about one goal as a club president. I know Rotary had 6 of them in there. Those are metrics that we normally have to do. But what is the one thing that you're going to focus on? And in my mind, on membership growth. I really believe that that's where we need to grow and retain. So how do we attract and retain? It's no different than retaining and attracting employees. It's the same thing. How do we do that? So be thinking about that. My leadership goals or my goals for really for Rotary in general, but just my participation at the district level is simplification. I think that it can be complicated, and it can be as complicated as you want to allow it to be. So I'm trying to simplify things because I want everybody on this call to want to get involved with district leadership. It has been amazing, and it's been an absolute whirlwind for me personally, but it has been incredible. The people I get to meet, the opportunities that I have, has been fantastic, and I want the same for all of you as well. But it has to be simplified. Otherwise, it ends up being, and excuse me for saying this to all the retired people who are on this call, but if it's not simplified, it will only be the retired people that can manage it, because those of us that have full-time jobs or running businesses or whatever, it's just too much. So my job is to make it simple, and I'm well on the way to doing that. And it's all about leadership. It's all about new clubs. And it's all about succession planning. With us starting the onboarding process for the president-elect in September, we cannot wait for getting president-elects identified. Quite frankly, we should be pushing president nominees right now. And I know that we just started this, so this is going to be a work in progress. And so hopefully in Tina's year, she's going to have, 38 of the 45 clubs, she's going to have the PEs identified. Maybe there's a couple that are stragglers. This year, I think we're doing fantastic, but we have to really keep ramping it up, because we have 22 president-elects identified out of 42 clubs. We might have a little bit more. I think there were 17 that didn't have, at least they weren't in Club Runner. They may have been identified, but they were not in Club Runner. So this is going to be probably a 2 to 3 year process. And once everybody gets used to the new program, then we'll be really focusing on president nominees. So the same way we have succession planning for district leadership, that is the same way that we need to manage our club succession planning as well. All right, I'm almost finished here. I'm going to open it up for questions in a second, but here's what's next. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pay attention to your monthly email, and I will make sure that if you are identified as the president-elect and you were not in that email chain, that we will get you in that. Number two, I want you to prioritize those monthly learning modules. I want you to spend some time, and they're typically 45 minutes. They are interesting and they are important. I mean, being club president comes with some obligation and some responsibility with regards to being an officer of that club. And so it's very important that we go through those trainings. Attend the pre-PEL Zoom meeting. Ensure your club runner contact is correct. If you have not registered on My Rotary, do so. And then I want you to engage with your assistant governor if you haven't. Our assistant governors, we have 10 of them. They are amazing people and they are amazing Rotarians. And I think that they will help you every step of the way. But engage with them, learn, meet new friends, right? Have a new colleague. I think that you'll really enjoy that relationship very much. So I am going to open it up for questions right now, if we have any. If you can find your digital hand, that'd be great. If you can't, go ahead and unmute and just tell me that you'd like to speak. Anybody have any questions? Nothing? Really? All right. Well, guess what? Remember that woman at the beginning of this call that I told you would work at an ice cream manufacturing place, ice cream machine manufacturing place? Well, you probably figured it out. It was me. And I started in Rotary in 2003 when John Curtis, what's his name, our CFO, asked me to attend a meeting. And I absolutely was not engaged as my job and my career took off. And so when I became president in 2019, so my first PETS was in 2020, right before the pandemic and everything shut down. But what I learned at PETS, I became a born-again Rotarian. So I was a club member. I refer to myself as a club member from 2003 to 2019. And in 2020, I became born again. And I cannot tell you, I'm getting emotional about it, but I cannot tell you how important that weekend was and is to me. I have since been in district. I've been district secretary, district public image chair. Now I'm in the district governor line. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm not saying that at all. I am telling you that it is an incredible experience and it will change your life. So I just want to leave you with this quote here from Paul Harris, who's the founder of Rotary International. Living a life of purpose is the truest form of success. And I do truly believe that. So I'll open it up for just a little bit more. If there's any questions or comments, anything that anybody would like to share, we've got a few minutes. Please let me know. Otherwise, I'll give you back some time. Is this where you're in class and you're hoping that the people don't raise your hand, don't raise your hand, don't raise your hand, right? When you're in school. All right, everybody. I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I will make sure that you all get those emails. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me, Tina, or John. And I'm so looking forward to meeting all of you in Itasca in February. All righty. Take care. Bye-bye.